Alright, with the unrestrictions of Dragon Rulers, we of course must have more Dragon Ruler support just because this is Konami we're talking about. This time with the remaining 2 attributes that we don't have for Dragon Rulers. So let's begin. So we start off with the Baby Light, Dragon Ruler of Light or Rays, Spectre. It's a level 2 Light Dragon with 600 attack, 1000 defense, and each effect is hard once per turn and you can only use one of the effects in the same turn. So the first effect is that you can discard this card along with one other Light or Dragon monster to add 2 Dragon Ruler monsters from your deck to your hand except itself. This effect itself is already really good because it sets you up and of course does further plays because Dragon Ruler has more discard effects. And let's not forget special summon from graveyard and also more banishing. Yeah, a lot of stuff right here already. In which the second effect is that you can banish this card from your graveyard along with one other Light or Dragon monster, then target one Chase Mantis Dragon Ruler of Auroras from your graveyard and special summon it, aka the Light Dragon Ruler that is the 7-star. And spoiler, it's a rank 7, not a level 7. So basically once again Baby Dragon summoning the big version of itself, but the main part is the first effect that lets you search. Overall, it's just a cool new support just because it sets up a lot of stuff. Next to the Baby Dark one, Nebulous Dragon Ruler of the Shadows, which is a level 2 Dark Dragon with 1000 attack, 600 defense. Each effect is hard once per turn and you can only activate one of the effects in a turn. The first effect is that you can discard this card along with one other Dark or Dragon monster, then target 2 of your banished Dragon Ruler monsters with different attributes instead of itself, special summon them, but they cannot attack this turn. Not like that matters because you're most likely going to do an Exceed play right there. And considering all the combos that you can do like banish and then just re-summoning those banished monsters, this is just a cool extension right here. But the second effect is that you can banish this card along with one other Dark or Dragon monster from your graveyard, then target one Eclipses Dragon Ruler of Woes in your graveyard and special summon it. Once again, the baby summoning the big form of itself. And spoiler alert, that's also a rank 7 Exceed. Overall, just a cool new card that just can combo and extend your plays. And now to the Grown Light Dragon Ruler, Chase Mantis Dragon Ruler of Auroras, which is a rank 7 Light Dragon Exceed monster with 3000 attack, 1600 defense, requires 2 Dragon level 7s, and each effect is hard once per turn. So the first one is that quick effect, you can send one level 7 Dragon Ruler from your deck to the graveyard, and then detach one material from this card, and then this card's effect becomes that send monster's effect that activates by discarding itself. If you guys don't remember, all the Dragon Rulers, at least the grown one, have the ability where when they're discarded, ability activates. So just having the ability to inherit any of their effects is just pretty nice. On top of that, it sets up your graveyard, and being a quick effect makes it also very nice. And that one extra detach is also very nice because that also of course will set up the graveyard. But the second effect is that if this card is destroyed by any means and in your own possession by opponent's card effect, you can special summon one level 7 Dragon Ruler from your graveyard or banishment, which of course is your main 4-element Dragon Rulers. Overall, it's pretty cool, just mainly for the fact that you can set up the graveyard while still activating their effect, aka it's like a search. And basically just further extended play. And also it's cool that it's a rank 7 Exceed since it is a level 7 base deck, and outside of the Fire Dragon Ruler that got an Exceed, this is technically its second Exceed monster. And also I'm glad that they took the Light and Dark Dragons in a different approach. In which now we go to Eclipses Dragon Ruler of Woes, which is a rank 7 Dark Dragon with 2700 attack, 1900 defense, requires 2 level 7 dragons, and each effect is hard once per turn. If this card is Exceed summon, you can target one level 4 or lower Dragon Ruler from your graveyard, or banishment, special summon one 7-star Dragon Ruler that is mentioned from the respective dragon from your deck or banishment, then shuffle that target into the deck. So basically, choose one of your graveyard or banished baby dragons, and then summon the respective dragon from your deck, and then shuffle back the baby dragon back to the deck. Although it is going to be awkward if you decide to choose the light or dark one, unless if they're already banished, but you're mainly going for the main 4 elements. With the second effect that when your opponent activates a spell or trap, or effect, quick effect, you can detach from materials and negate the activation if you do banish this card, which will actually make it banish, so you do have a way to summon this back through the dark one. But I have to say this is not as great as the light one, but it does have its uses to make your plays. And now when all the elements combine, we get Disaster, Dragon Ruler of Paranomalies, which is a rank 7 light dragon with 0 attack and defense and requires 2 level 7 monsters. Its first effect is hard once per turn, where when this card is Exceed summon, you can target up to 4 level 7 Dragon Rulers in your graveyard and or banishment and attach this card to material. Then banish all monsters your opponent controls and in their graveyard with the same attributes as the attached card to this card. Since you've got 6 different attributes, if you can get all 6 of them, you basically can banish everything depending on the matchup. Although most of the time it's going to be only one attribute, and with the release of Light and Dark, that's going to be pretty much every single deck. But either way, you want every attribute attached to this because of the second effect, where if this card has every attribute other than the unique ones as material as Dragon Ruler, it gets 4600 attack and defense and also is unaffected by card effects. So basically, it's your ultimate Dragon Ruler that has all the elements combined. First effect sets up the second effect basically, because the first effect puts 4, so that's 4 attributes, and then from your 2 materials to summon this, that's 2 more attributes. So basically it is doable, but you only use this as a final boss monster basically because it's requirements. Sometimes you will be in an awkward scenario where you don't even have every single attribute. But overall, it's a cool little final boss monster. To me, it is a bit weird that they chose it as a rank 7. Yes, it is a rank 7 base deck now, but I think it would have been cooler if it was a fusion monster that fuses with all the attribute Dragon Rulers instead, because to me that might make more sense than an Exceed monster. But overall, it is a cool concept, and as a final boss monster for Dragon Rulers with all elements combined, it is doable. Although wish this was a divine element instead. And finally to the last card, which is quick play, Drago Calamity. So you can only activate one of these per turn and only one of its effects once per turn. So the first one is special summon one Dragon Ruler monster from your hand, graveyard, or banishment. Then after this card resolves, Exceed summon one Dragon Ruler monster by using only Dragon Ruler monsters you control as material. So it kind of sets you up, but you must do immediate Exceed, which you do have some targets now because it used to be no Dragon Rulers basically. But overall, it's a pretty nice card. With the second effect, during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target any number of your banished Dragon Rulers with different attributes and return them back to the graveyard, aka set up your play again, and of course make even more plays from after that. Just overall cool new card for Dragon Rulers, and definitely very helpful. So that's it for this wave of support of Dragon Rulers. What do you guys think of it? Overall, it's pretty cool to see Dragon Rulers return, and I still remember back in the day when Dragon Rulers were first released, it was actually very OP that they had to hit it like almost immediately. But I wonder how it does it work in the modern meta. Is it as strong as it used to be, or it's not as strong for the current meta, especially with this new wave of support? Now, I do find it weird that they decided to actually add in the light and dark attribute, even though I could just stick with the 4 main elements. But I guess it's a cool little expansion concept to just have every single Dragon Ruler attribute. But at least finally, Dragon Ruler can now be a full-on archetype rather than splashing some random other monsters in the deck. But in that, it's just cool to see these return, and I might actually play the deck. But in that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.